Commission to post colors.
Post colors.
Stand by. Mark time. March. Forward. March. Polka. Recover. Present. Hook.
Please join me as we pledge our allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Hook. Right. Hits.
I'll ask Steve to come up here shortly, but before we do that, I know that he'll have a chance to talk to most of the city employees and the staff and the administrative folks for the city, but I want to say right here in front of everyone of you, thank you very much for all that you're doing for our community. We are so lucky and fortunate to have this town as our own, and it's because of your hard efforts. So I just wanted to say that personally to all of you in attendance. So thank you very, very much. Let's give them a hand of applause. I'm not going to do any bio on you. If you'd like to just come on up and just start talking about whatever you want to talk about, like how are we going to get rid of all the snow on the street, or I don't know. I mean, how are we going to do a bunch of other things? I think it'd be great to hear from you, though. Come on up. Mr. Steve Widmyer.
Well, good morning, and thank you for being here today. And I want to thank Steve Wilson and the Chamber for inviting me here to talk about this fantastic place that we live, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So normally, what I do the night before I give a speech or a presentation, I'm at home and I'll do a final run through and I'll go through the whole entire speech. And my wife, Marie, has to be the audience and she has to listen to it. But unfortunately, she has to be out of town this week and she couldn't do that. So the only one that was home besides me was my golden retriever, Russell. So I thought, what the heck? So I sat down in the living room, brought Russell in, and Russell sat down and he looked very, very interested, and I started my speech, and I wanted to let you know that 5 minutes in, Russell was asleep on the floor. So if you feel a need 5 minutes in to take a little nap or something, just put your head down. I'll totally understand. So today I'm going to get into some detail on the work that each of the city departments does to make our city a great place. And it takes each and every one of these departments to operate as a team to be who we are and to strive for that goal to be a city of excellence. From there, I'd like to talk about some of the things that we accomplished in 2017 and some of the things that we're going to be working on in 2018. And then I want to talk about some things that I feel that are important for us as a community to think about. The first job I want to talk about is mine, and my job is to work with the city administrator and staff to ensure that all departments are working well and properly servicing our citizens. In addition, I work with the city council to approve the budget and create the policies and laws that operate our city. Many times I'm a problem solver, and I get messages and emails from concerned citizens such as this one: "Your city sucks." So fortunately, by the end of my conversation with this gentleman, he didn't think our city sucked that much anymore. So there are some people that I'd like to thank. And recognize. First of all, I want to thank my wife, Maria. As I mentioned, she couldn't be here today. My son, Ben, is with me today, and I want to thank my entire family. And they are my sounding board so often for things. I guess I need to thank Russell, too, although he did fall asleep after 5 minutes. So I'd like to thank our council members. We have an excellent council. We have Amy Evans, Kiki Miller, Woody McEvers, Dan Gukin, and Dan English. And I want to thank each and every one of those people for their service. I want to make special mention to someone that I feel is the best elected city official in the city of Coeur d'Alene, and that's Ron Edinger. This picture is from the November 8th, 1967 Coeur d'Alene Press. And the caption reads, "Ron L. Edinger and newly elected city councilman Ivan A. Hansen was re-elected, and they both exchanged handshakes and congratulations today following their election Tuesday to 4-year terms on the city board." Over 50 years later, Ron is still going strong, and I'm proud that he is a mentor and a friend. This April, Ron will be inducted into the Idaho Hall of Fame. Let's give Ron a big round of applause. I'd also like to recognize our local mayors. We have Steve Griffiths from Hayden, Steve Roberg from Dalton Gardens, Heidi Acuff from Fernand, Vic Holmes from Rathdrum, and Ron Jacobson from Post Falls. We have a great working relationship, and we work together on many projects. I'd like to recognize our county commissioners, Mark Eberlein, Bob Bingham, and Chris Filios, who work together with us on related issues, such as the shared parking lot at Memorial Field and public transit. And I'd also like to thank our urban renewal agency, Ignite. Board Chairman Scott Hoskins, board members Olivia Metz, Mick Arman, Brad Jordan, Deanna Goodlander, Jim Chapkus, Sarah Garcia, council member Dan English, and Executive Director Tony Burns. Many of the projects that we will talk about today are made possible by our Urban Renewal Agency. So let's talk about some of the departments in the city of Coeur d'Alene and get into a little bit of detail on each one of these. Our city administration team is led by our new city administrator, Troy Tymason. As most of you know, Troy has been with the city for 17 years as our finance director. Troy is now responsible for all of the day-to-day operations of the city. Troy is a fantastic leader and problem solver, and I'm very pleased to have Troy in this new role. Troy's right-hand man is Sam Taylor, our deputy city administrator. Sam assists Troy in the day-to-day operations of the city, and in addition concentrates on administering our parking program and is the city liaison for the Arts Commission. Sam is also in charge of all of the city's communications. Our fire department is led by Fire Chief Kenny Gabriel, who's been with the city fire department for 26 years. And you're going to notice a pattern as I go through all of these departments on the years of service that all of these people have spent at the city of Coeur d'Alene. So Kenny has served the last 17 years as our fire chief. Kenny is responsible for all aspects of the department, which includes 68 employees. We have 3 deputy fire chiefs. Tom Greif has been with the department for 20 years and as operations deputy chief is responsible for managing the various divisions with the department and is responsible for the day-to-day operations. Jim Washko has been with the department for 20 years, and as support service deputy chief is responsible for all of the necessary equipment and facilities that make the department operational. Finally, Bill DeRider has been with the department for 13 years, and he was recently promoted to deputy chief, and he's now responsible for all the aspects of emergency training and planning with the department, including EMS training and paramedic training. This year, after many years of planning and leadership from Chief Gabriel and his crew, we opened a new fire station near Hanley in Atlas that will serve the northwest portion of our city. This station will increase our commitment to public safety and help us serve our ever-growing number of calls for service. In 2017, our fire department responded to 9,100 calls for service, an all-time record, which was 12% over the previous record. So currently, with Troy's position vacant, we are searching for a new finance director. The finance director oversees 7 staff members. These staff members work on all aspects of city finances, including 19,000 utility accounts and processing all payroll and payable services. Our deputy finance director, Bonnie Jensen, has been with the city for 27 years, and she prepares all of our budgets and financial statements for our 14 departments and works with our independent auditors to produce our annual audited financial statements. This year's budget is over $90 million. Troy, did you arrange for that? In July, the city was proud to announce its new interactive online transparency tool called OpenGov. OpenGov allows community members to see the city budget and financial transaction information with a simple visual interface. The platform increases government accountability and improves access to important public information. This also will answer such questions as how much does the city spend on public safety? The city has worked hard in the last year and a half to more effectively engage the community and improve transparency through modern technology. And OpenGov is one of these tools that we're going to make that happen. And I want to thank Sam Taylor for dragging us into the year 2000 in our technology, and he's done a great job of that. And so we're proud to be the 3rd Idaho city to utilize OpenGov, and it can be accessed on our website for those of you that are interested in those numbers at cdaid.org/OpenGov. Our legal department is led by City Attorney Mike Gridley. I don't know if he was practicing for the barbershop quartet with his vest he had on. But Mike has served in his capacity for 15 years, and he oversees 2 divisions, the civil division and the criminal division. The civil division is led by Deputy City Attorney Randy Adams, who has been with the city for 2 years. The civil division works on all ordinances, contracts, and legal matters involving the city. The criminal division is led by Deputy City Attorney Wes Somerton, who has been with the city for 17 years. This office prosecutes all misdemeanors in Coeur d'Alene. Last fiscal year, they handled over 3,200 criminal cases. In addition, the criminal division continues to work with our police department in helping victims, especially the victims of domestic violence. Our incredible library is led by Director Betty Ammon, who has been with the city for 12 years. This year, believe it or not, our library celebrated its 10-year anniversary, and we feel it's one of the top libraries anywhere. So here's some library stats. The library checked out over 400,000 items in 2017, and over 36,000 Coeur d'Alene residents have library cards. Under Betty's leadership and with the hard work of their staff, we have a library that everyone can be proud of. Our municipal service department is led by Renata McLeod, who is the city clerk. And Renata, you wouldn't think this since Renata's only 30 years old, but she's worked for the city for 27 years. We start them young at the city. Our municipal service is the keeper of records, among many other things. During the year, they've issued over 2,000 permits. The entire city computer and electronic information system operates in this department, and that in itself is a huge job. Our outstanding police department is led by Chief Lee White. Chief White came to Coeur d'Alene from Mesa, Arizona in 2014. He came to Coeur d'Alene with extensive law enforcement experience, and I can tell you, Lee is a tremendous leader. Captain Dave Hagar came to us almost 2 years ago from Mesa and has spent most of that time in charge of our patrol division, and he now heads up our detective division. And Captain Lee Brainerd was recently promoted to patrol captain and has spent 21 years with the Coeur d'Alene PD. Our police department includes Our police department includes 89 sworn officers, including 61 members of the patrol team, 11 detectives, and 8 school resource officers. In addition, the department has 21 professional staff made up of record specialists, code enforcement, animal control, evidence specialists, crime analyzers, and administration staff. Collectively, this team not only represents a professional law enforcement agency that our citizens can be proud of, but the team has reduced Part 1 crimes 18% last year, and they are regarded as leaders in our Northwest law enforcement. And I'd like to give them a big round of applause again. Our Parks and Recreation Department is led by Bill Greenwood. This apparently was a picture of Bill when he first started. Bill has been with the city for almost 19 years, and the Park and Rec Department has 5 divisions and 22 full-time employees. The Parks Division maintains 587 acres that includes 30 parks. The Recreation Division offers 25 regularly scheduled programs for 6,500 participants, and with their tournaments and swim program, they serve another 4,500 participants. The Parks Department also operates and takes care of the cemeteries, Forest Cemetery, which is 22 acres, and Riverview Cemetery, which is 7.5 acres. Our Urban Forestry Division, you won't find many cities in Idaho that have as good of urban forestry division as we have. And we manage over 25,000 street trees and over 4,000 park trees. And finally, our Building Maintenance Division manages over 40 city-owned buildings totaling 215,000 square feet. Next is our Water Department. Terry Pickle is our water superintendent, and he's been with the city for 12 years. The Water Department has 23 full-time employees. Our Water Department supplies anywhere from 6 million gallons a day in the wintertime up to 4 million gallons of water per day. They're responsible for maintenance and repairs to over 2,600 fire hydrants. They read 19,000 meters every month. And they change out 2,000 meters annually and provide repair and maintenance to all of our water infrastructure. Our wastewater department is led by Mike Anderson, who started in June of last year. Mike comes to us from Philadelphia. The wastewater department has 28 highly skilled individuals filling 19 different job classifications. This department manages the day-to-day operations and maintenance of 215 miles of underground piping and pump stations referred to as a collection system. The plant treats almost 4 million gallons of wastewater on a daily basis. Water and wastewater are 2 departments that are unsung in our city, but they're really critical to everything that we do in the city. I don't think they ever get a round of applause, but let's give them one today. Our Director of Human Resources is Melissa Tosi. Melissa's been with the city for 19 years. The HR department consists of 2 full-time employees that provide quality service to our 400 employees. Darcy Todd is our Human Resources Specialist, and she provides the day-to-day support and assistance to all our city employees. As a community planning director, Hillary Anderson has been with the city since 2014, and she directs and manages the programs and activities of the planning department, including development review, comprehensive planning, and related planning activities. In 2017, the department conducted 942 plan reviews for permits. The department has been working on amendments to the zoning code and amending the design review procedures to expedite the process. They're currently working on the East Sherman Master Plan, and they're just beginning to work on the Comprehensive Plan update. The Comprehensive Plan is a 20-year guide for the physical growth of our city. It establishes our long-range vision, and it's a tool to be used for land use decisions by the Planning Commission and City Council. It addresses changing demographics and economics and includes growth projections and trends. Comprehensive Plan takes a lot of time and community involvement, and it'll be a 2-year process. The Streets and Engineering Department is led by a very young-looking Tim Martin. We need to update some of these pictures. Not that you look old or anything, Tim. Tim has been with the city, and this is the highest one that I'll mention today, for 30 years. The department, with its 35 full-time employees, is split into 4 teams that all work together to achieve the goals and missions put forward by the mayor and city council. The maintenance crew maintains over 550 miles of roadways, and we have 2 nationally recognized programs, the Leaf Fest program in the fall and the state-of-the-art Loader Gate snow removal program. Our inspectors oversee several hundred encroachment permits and inspections, as well as a concerted effort into asphalt rating and traffic counts. And our fleet service provides a one-stop repair shop for everything from lawnmowers to emergency vehicles. The drainage utility manages over 150 miles of storm pipe. When you see the people and the sweepers going along cleaning the streets, that is our drainage utility program. And so we do this to make sure that we meet our goals of clean water. The final department is the building department, and they are led by Ted Lancy, who has been with the city for 16 years. The building department oversees the building process from initial permitting through the final certificate of occupancy. One of the great public service benefits provided by our building department, in coordination with other departments, are free project reviews that can help find solutions to challenging sites or construction issues before permits are ever applied for. And it also helps potential applicants understand the types of costs involved with a project. Building, as everyone probably knows, has had a very busy year, conducting more than 8,100 inspections since January and reviewing more than 8,400 plans. So here's some building stats from 2017. In 2017, we had 335 single-family permits issued, which is the highest since the record of 372 permits in 2007. The single-family value was over $70 million, which is the highest value we have ever seen. Multifamily construction is a little below average with 8 permits and $6 million in value. However, we are coming off very high numbers for multifamily in 2013, 14, and 15. Commercial permits were above average at 39 with a value of $38 million. Overall, the value of the new construction permits in 2017 was a very strong $162 million. And 2018 promises to be just as strong as 2017. So this is your city and the people and departments that make it work. There's combined 309 years of leadership experience. Let's give them another big round of applause. So some of the projects that we're working on, we are very excited that 2018 will bring completion of the second phase of improvements to Memorial Field. The first phase of the Four Corners project brought major improvements to the former Mullen Road, now Fort Grounds Drive, including returning the historic Playland Pier Carousel. How many in here, if you would raise your hand, rode on the Playland Pier Carousel when it was there? There's a few of you out there. So they just completed their very first year of operation. Under construction now are major improvements, again at Memorial Field, including a revitalized and realigned Memorial Field, new playground structure and bathrooms, new court space for pickleball and futsal. You guys will be talking about futsal here in about a year, so I know nobody knows what it is now, but you'll know what it is in a year from now. And a brand new skate park. In addition, we are pleased that through our partnership with Kootenai County, additional parking will also be added, which will serve citizens and employees visiting the courthouse. Funding for the park improvements are provided by our urban renewal agency, Ignite. We've begun work on our downtown parking garage on Coeur d'Alene Avenue between 3rd and 4th Streets. A recent parking study has told us that we need 220 more parking spots during our peak summer months. This $7.3 million project, again, thanks to funding from Ignite CDA, will not only address the current demand for parking, but will meet our downtown parking demand for many years in the future. Celtice Way, the first phase and most of the major improvements to Celtice Way were completed in December, and we're excited for the final lift of asphalt and landscaping to be completed in the spring. This project is not a simple reconstruction, but a major revitalization from Riverstone Drive to Hutter that turns this former highway into a true city streetscape. Thanks again to funding from Ignite CDA, this project will not only improve the roadway, but will create a new bicycle and pedestrian-friendly corridor that includes an off-street buffered bike lane and a 12-foot wide multi-use path. The city also constructed with this project its first 2-lane roundabouts, which will help traffic flows. All aspects of this project are focused on ensuring Celtice is more of a community street and is safe for all users. A new and improved City Hall is almost complete with the remodel of this facility first constructed in 1978. The lower floor of City Hall is focused on servicing our community with a one-stop shop customer service center. We now have a single entry point to City Hall, which is on the lower floor, making it easier for users to find the services that they are looking for. The final phase, which will be a remodel of the former council chambers, will house our city attorney's criminal division, which previously we were spending $40,000 a year annually to rent space for them, and now we're going to be moving them into City Hall. So stop by and check out your new remodeled City Hall. I spoke earlier about some of the upcoming improvements at Memorial Park. Many may not realize that some of these improvements could not have happened without a new lease just signed with the Bureau of Land Management. This project was several years in the making, and the no-cost 20-year lease allows the city to control nearly 29 acres of the former BNSF railway that was actually always owned by the federal government. This lease means our community can further expand our recreational opportunities from City Park all the way to Riverstone. As part of this process, the Four Corners Master Plan was created based upon community input. That plan means the extension of the Centennial Trail, additional park space, and a partnership with North Idaho College, which has property abutting the area. Many of you have heard that the city and Ignite are moving forward with the purchase of the Atlas Mill site. If you turn your attention to the screen, we have a short video to show you on that site.
12 years ago, the Atlas Mill closed on this site. We lost more than 120 living wage jobs, and the land has lain fallow ever since. What if this 47 acres gave us new opportunities? What could come rolling along from this former log processing operation? What could we do with the last undeveloped piece of land right along the Spokane River? The city of Coeur d'Alene will finalize purchase of the Atlas waterfront property by May 2018. Our goal is to help make the vision of our citizens a reality, increasing our permanent public waterfront access along the river and promoting economic development opportunities. Over the coming months, we will work with partner organizations to hear from numerous local community groups and our residents about their vision for the Atlas waterfront. We'll weave the vision and values of Coeur d'Alene into expert analysis of the opportunities for this land and move toward a new future that blends community access and growing our economy. Stay up to date with the Atlas Waterfront Project's progress by visiting cdaid.org/Atlas Waterfront.
So I've heard criticisms from people that the city should not be buying this property, that we are competing with developers. My response is that this is a unique piece of property with some incredible opportunities for public water access and private development. But the site has tremendous development challenges. So what are we doing? We're doing two things. These are our goals. Providing maximum access to the riverfront for the public and removing many of the development challenges that this site has to enable economic development from the private sector. This property went in and out of escrow several times because of the unanswered questions that posed too much risk for any developer. Among the issues were environmental, soil conditions, annexations, city-owned right-of-way, and riverbank stabilization. Here is what a couple of developers who had the property in escrow but let it go out of escrow had to say. The first one, your city has the tools it needs to encourage responsible development. Once the urban rural districts are extended, annexation is complete, and public needs are defined, a developer can look at the project pragmatically. The rest will fall in place. I was encouraged once you guys took the leadership on the Atlas site. Your involvement will open up other tools required to make that piece work. Another developer that had the property in escrow but let it go out of escrow. He said, the main concern from a developer's standpoint were all of the unknowns with the property, not just from an environmental standpoint, but from a land use and financing decision. From a financing standpoint, urban renewal is needed for the vast site cleanup and regrading efforts. The time and uncertainty here tremendously added to the risk. In my opinion, I'm pleased to see the city stepped in to take control of the property to eliminate these obstacles. It will take a public body that has the wherewithal and the ability to take the guessing out of the project. Once the rules are established, we can figure out how to play the game. So we are looking forward to creating a great public-private partnership at the Atlas Mill site. And early this year, we'll be reaching out to the public to get input on this very important asset to our community. So here is a brief clip of the Sergeant Greg Moore Memorial. We were able to do a test run of the waterfalls this fall, and we will do the finishing touches this spring, and we will have the dedication during Police Week in May. Through this memorial, we in Coeur d'Alene show that we are committed to our law enforcement, and we will remember throughout the country those that have given their lives in service, and that we will show that we will always honor Sergeant Greg Moore. So please be looking for that this spring. I'd like to take a minute to honor the passing of one of the city's outstanding employees. Sid Fredrickson retired in December of 2016 after serving the city of Coeur d'Alene and its citizens faithfully for 30 years. Most of you fondly remember Sid as our illustrious, as he called himself, poop herder, the wastewater superintendent. Sid took great pride in his mission to protect human health and the environment through the efficient, cost-effective collection and treatment of wastewater. Sid's visionary efforts left the city in great shape now and into the future. Thank you, Sid. You'll be greatly missed by all. So here are 4 things that I think the city needs to be thinking about: walkability, small business, economic gardening, and affordable housing. I think as we look into the future of our city, we need to make sure that we are a walkable community. As planners, we need to plan for that. Factors affecting walkability are street connectivity, land use, sidewalks and paths, residential density, street designs that work for people, not just cars, and the presence of trees and vegetation. Not only is increased walkability healthy, it decreases auto emissions, and it has economic benefits, such as increased real estate values. Walkability will be an important part of the East Sherman development. and we're going to hear a lot about walkability of cities in the coming years. I'd like to see the city of Coeur d'Alene become one of the best places in the Northwest for small business. The Institute for Local Self-Reliance said, local-owned businesses play a central role in healthy communities and are among the best engines that cities and towns have for advancing economic opportunity. Small business ownership has been a pathway to the middle class for generations of Americans and continues to be a crucial tool for building wealth and community self-determination. So what, as a community, what can we do? Again, this institute said, get zoning right for small businesses. Zoning should support multi-story, pedestrian-oriented districts that include a mix of large and small commercial spaces and that preserve historic buildings. This type of varied building stock offers the best habitat for local business, and research has found that neighborhoods with a range of building types and ages have more startups per square foot. Facilitate adaptive reuse of buildings. Here is the newly renovated Elks building. How many here have had opportunity to go through that building? It is incredible. And it houses the University of Idaho Computer Science Lab led by Charles Buck and his team, and really is a tremendous building. And I would encourage anyone that hasn't been in there to arrange for a tour of that. So the cities can adapt an adaptive reuse program to help local entrepreneurs turn older buildings into new businesses. Finally, cities should establish a preference for locally owned businesses in city purchasing and include clear definitions, goal setting, and reporting to ensure that their purchasing doubles as economic development. We should promote a buy local program throughout our city. So these are just a few ideas of becoming a bigger supporter of small business. Now here's a term that many may have not heard of, and I just recently heard of this, and it's called economic gardening. Economic gardening is an approach to economic development that seeks to grow the local economy from within. Its premise is that local entrepreneurs create the companies that bring new wealth and economic growth to a region in the form of jobs, increased revenues, and a vibrant local business sector. Economic gardening seeks to focus on growing and nurturing local businesses that are here already. So how do we help successful small companies grow? This is where we work with our partners, North Idaho College and Jobs Plus. NIC has created what they call the Co-Creation Center and is led by Director Ryan Arnold. The Co-Creation Center is an effort by NIC to develop an educational hub for the skills of creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship to thrive. The Co-Creation Center will prepare our region's students by providing a campus center where business activities can take place on our North Idaho higher education campus. With partnerships such as Makerspace Gizmo and the Idaho Small Business Development Center established within the Co-Creation Center, NIC is building upon its leadership in higher education to help our current business community thrive. Look for great things in the future from NIC, the Co-Creation Center, and Jobs Plus. Affordable housing. The high cost of housing impacts cities of all sizes, and it's an incredibly challenging and controversial topic. So here are a few thoughts on affordable housing. Developers don't pay the cost of construction. Tenants and buyers do. A developer who doesn't pass on costs will not be in business for very long. For this reason, anything that makes development more costly for developers makes housing more costly for people. And remember, time is money. A convoluted permitting process makes housing more expensive too. Next, we can look at reducing minimum lot size and relax density restriction in single-family zones. If your zoning code requires large lots, the houses that are built there will be more expensive than if they were built on smaller lots. Duplexes, triplexes, and even small four-unit buildings can be easily designed to fit in with nearby single-family homes. Unlocking such large areas of land for modest increases in housing immediately opens up development without threatening the existing character of neighborhoods. And again, let's take a long look at our city's zoning. And this can be done as we look at updating the comprehensive plan. we can better promote affordable housing through zoning. So here's some final thoughts on our city government. You can really change our minds. A well-informed citizen who gets up and speaks at a meeting on an issue can be very compelling, but you have to be well-informed, and you have to do it in a respectful manner. It's easier to pass a $20 million water treatment project than it is to spend a few $1,000s on a new laptop computer for police squad cars. People's eyes tend to glaze over when you review the details of a big project, but small costs are a lot easier for them to grasp. There's no place for partisanship in city government. Most of our responsibilities, public safety, ensuring the streets are plowed, the parks are in good condition, and the library stays open, are nuts and bolts issues, and there's no partisanship in them. If you have an idea, and this room is full of smart people, bring the idea to us. The cool thing about being mayor is that unlike at the state and national level, you can help make a decision and often see the concrete results. When it comes down to it, most people fear change. Many projects that people hate at first, the ones that they complain about the loudest, end up being much loved after they're built. There's a project just to the east of us that many people worked very, very hard on. That's a prime example of that. And finally, taxes are always too high. No matter where I go or whom I talk to, that's what people say. The second thing they do is make a list of the things that they want. So there's an extreme balancing act between taxes and serving the public in a way that they expect. So save the best for last. This little angel is Marie and my first grandchild, Quinn Marie. She was born on Marie's birthday, February 6th of last year. And I can tell you that it's myself, it's your city council, and our entire city staff goal to preserve and enhance our quality of life in Coeur d'Alene. For you, for your children, for your grandchildren, for Quinn Marie, and for generations to come. And we will work hard to achieve that goal. All the best to all of you in 2018. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Great cities must have great leadership, and I think we can all see that Coeur d'Alene has great leadership. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, City Council, and thank you to all the hardworking city employees. Appreciate it very much.